Okay, guys, so here's the first of our PowerPoint lectures that I'm going to put on homeroom for you guys. So we're going to go through India, which remember from the AP regions is also called South Asia. So one of the things you need to realize about Unit 2 is the high point of the development of religions. So it's during this time period that the codification and development of religious traditions are going to expand, and it's going to be a way that people can connect. It's going to help unify them within their empires, and it's also going to start to set up the ethical codes by which people live by. Rulers are going to also use religion to justify their rule, and you're going to see religion play a really big part, not just in politics, but economics and social classes and everything else. So within South Asia, we have the Vedic religions, which we talked about from period 1, which were the Sanskrit scriptures that were the basis for Hinduism, that helped set up the caste system and helped set up the belief in reincarnation. So eventually, over time, this emerges into Hinduism. And so you have the Ramayana and the Mahabharata, which are the holy books for Hinduism. And you really need to know a lot about the contents of them. Not really, you just need to be able to associate them with the religion. So again, Hinduism is also going to be used to reinforce the caste system, the cycle of reincarnation. And at this point in time, it's important to know that it's also tolerant of other religions. There aren't a whole lot of other religions in India yet, but they are going to have contact with people in China and trade with people in Rome. So they're going to be tolerant of the other religions that are in existence at this point. The new religion that's going to come out of the classical period is Buddhism. Okay, Buddhism was founded by Siddhartha Gautama, who was an Indian prince who was horrified by all the suffering that he saw in the world. And as he sat and meditated on this, he came to the realization that suffering was caused by human possessions and desires. So once he achieved this enlightened status, he became known as Buddha, which means the enlightened one. And so, in order to try to help people get on the right path to end their suffering, he set out the Four Noble Truths, which were all the facts about life. And that in order to achieve nirvana, you'd have to follow the Eightfold Path. And over time, Buddhism becomes very, very popular in India due to the fact that anybody could achieve nirvana regardless of what social class you belong to. So it was like universal salvation for everybody. So it was very, very appealing to especially people of the lower caste because this was something that they could get fully involved in. And then later on, we'll go look at all of the similarities between Buddhism and Christianity, and we'll talk about how Buddhism spreads and becomes one of the big religions in Asia. All right, so there's two big empires to know during the classical period. The first is the Mauryan, which lasts from about 321 BCE to 185 BCE. The dates aren't super important, just so long as you know that they're in the classical period and in the BCE time period. Chandragupta Maurya was the founder of the dynasty. He brought centralized rule and a unified government to India. That's really all you need to know about him. Fun fact, after he was ruler, at one point he decided he didn't want to be king anymore, so he abdicated and became a monk and starved himself to death while he was fasting. But it's important to realize that at this point under Chandragupta Maurya that everyone in India was Hindu. So Hinduism is the only religion at this point until Ashoka comes around, who was Chandragupta's grandson. So the lovely man right there in the picture. After a battle, once he realized how horrible his victory was, he decided to convert to Buddhism and pretty much spent the rest of his rule trying to help spread Buddhism and advocate peace. And he's going to establish religious tolerance for any religion in India. One of the things to know about Ashoka is that he ran a very tightly organized bureaucracy. And that's one of the things that the Mauryan dynasty is known for, is for it's very centralized rule. They were divided into provinces, and you had administrators who oversaw the provinces, and they did have a bureaucracy, but you still had one centralized ruler. And one of the things that Ashoka did is he made sure that he traveled extensively throughout the empire to make sure that people were doing what they were supposed to, so he could keep a watch over affairs and to make sure that everything was just this really tightly run, efficient government. Pataliputra, which is over in the eastern part of the country, was the capital. It was a thriving cosmopolitan city. And when we say cosmopolitan, that just means that you have a lot of different people coming there. There's a lot of culture, there's a lot of trade, there's a lot of stuff going on. Ashoka also helped to make sure that there were roads built that connected all the commercial centers in India so that it could be a thriving point for trade. The Mauryan dynasty is the larger of the two classical dynasties in India. It controls pretty much the whole subcontinent. And under Ashoka's rule, this is the high point of the empire, because after his death, the empire quickly declined, and it ultimately collapsed due to financial and economic problems. So some of the things that you need to associate as far as architecture goes with the Mauryan, you have the stupas, and then you have Ashoka's pillars, which are like where he wrote all his rock edicts and stuff. So make sure you associate these two pictures with the Mauryan dynasty and Ashoka. All right, the Gupta dynasty, which is the second one. It lasts from 320 CE to 550 CE. It was founded by Chandragupta. This is considered to be the golden age of classical India. And anytime we talk about a golden age, that just means it's like the highlight of artistic and scientific and architectural advancements. And so the Gupta were known for their advances in math and science. Some of the things that they did, they developed the concept of zero, pi, Arabic numerals, which are the numbers you use every single day so you can thank them for all the math stuff. They were one of the first to issue inoculations, which are like going and getting vaccines for different kinds of diseases. They even had plastic surgery. They were a lot smaller than the Mauryan. They were mainly just in the northern part of India, and they were different from the Mauryan in the fact that they took a very hands-off approach to running everything. They were very decentralized. They left the local regions in charge of kind of running their own affairs. So like when Chandragupta was the ruler, he really didn't do a whole lot. They reinforced this concept of Hinduism as the official religion of the empire. So it's a change from when Ashoka was ruling. And they really tried to start to put down Buddhism because they kind of saw it as a threat to traditional lifestyles. Really supportive of the caste system and that fact that everyone had their place, not like with Buddhism where you could move up and down in the social ladder because everybody was equal. Ultimately, the Gupta is going to collapse because they are going to be invaded by a group of nomads called the White Huns, who are going to hang around Asia. And they go in and they start conquering the northern part of the empire. And then ultimately, that's going to be why they collapse. So make sure that you know the White Huns. And that's it for India, guys. Next time, China.